Welcome, everyone. Thanks for sharing part of your afternoon with us today. My name is Whitney Ziegler. I'm the founder and CEO of Big Rocks Organizing. We are a small company based in the Portland metro area, and we assist folks through life transitions. Our superpower is empathy. So we help with home organizing, estate cleanouts, and we provide moving assistance. Every month, we do a free workshop like we're having this afternoon, and it's called Ask the Organizer. And this month we have special guests. We're really excited to have 4 special guests with us today from various nonprofits in the area. And our theme is giving back. So they're going to share with us how you can give back to your community by donating things that you are right sizing from your home to the organizations to benefit them and the community. So I'm going to introduce them one at a time, and each will talk for about 5 to 10 minutes, and you're welcome to ask them questions afterwards, and we'll have an open Q&A after all 4 presenters speak, and then we'll have some announcements at the very end. So I'm going to start with Corey, and is your last name pronounced, is it Backer?
Bacher, like the composer.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, Corey manages Second Edition Resale Shop that helps support the Cedar Mill and Bethany Community Libraries in unincorporated Washington County. The libraries were started by members of the community in 1974, and Second Edition evolved out of a garage and parking lot sales, started in 1976 to help fund the early libraries. They sell donated goods exclusively and currently have a staff of about 45 volunteers, 2 part-time paid assistants, and Corey. They're open 6 days a week, and they raise well over $300,000 for the libraries each year. Corey signed on as manager about a year before the pandemic hit and has helped the libraries navigate their way through the pandemic back into the post-pandemic business model. Second Edition has now exceeded the revenue they were making with half the number of volunteers and only open about 60% of the hours before the pandemic. That's incredible, Corey. So Corey shopped at Second Edition almost exclusively for about 20 years prior to starting the job there, and Cedar Mill has been her library since 1985. Corey says that their entire model is based on giving back, so it's a concept that she works with all day, every day. Welcome, Corey. We want to hear more about Second Edition Resale and about you.
Well, thank you for inviting me today. As I said in my bio, Cedar Mill's been my library for many, many years. I no longer live in Washington County. I've moved to Multnomah County, but Cedar Mill is still my library. And I'm very, very happy to have a job that where I can contribute to the health of both the Cedar Mill and the Bethany libraries. Second Edition, as you said, is donation only. We don't do consignment. We don't purchase anything. Everything we sell is donated. We take donations 5 days a week, Tuesdays through Saturdays, 10 to 4 each day. We do not accept donations on Sundays or Mondays. We are closed on Mondays, but we have a elastic crew of people who are working on processing donations. It's a catch-up day for us, and I spend a lot of time in the shop reorganizing it, re-merchandising, cleaning, tidying, etc. So Mondays are very important to us to kind of get ourselves set for the week ahead. We accept donations 5 days a week, but honestly, we are snowed all of the time. And I think this is going to be a common theme. As you said, I started about a year before the pandemic hit. The first US death that we know of occurred on Leap Day of 2020. Was a gentleman in Washington State. And at that point, we were still open for 2 more weeks, but at that point, our sales plummeted, but donations skyrocketed. People self-quarantined and apparently were cleaning out their closets. So we closed mid-March and just, everyone was trying to navigate. Nobody knew anything about this disease. We didn't know if surfaces were a problem, for instance. So at one point, the library was quarantining all returned books for 5 days before anyone touched them. You know, we know so much more about COVID now. And I had, before the pandemic hit, I had a crew of about 75 or 80 volunteers, almost all of them older. So that was very hard for me. It was totally my goal of, please, no one gets sick at our location on my watch. And I'm very, very proud to say that we have never had a case of COVID transmission at Second Edition. Either, to the best of my knowledge, not to shoppers, and certainly not to any of the volunteers. So when the pandemic hit, I was forced to lay off all my staff. Most of the volunteers left of their own accord. I was alone, for about 2 months, continuing to process donations that we had received, this glut of donations that we'd received at the beginning of the pandemic. So alone in the building, but I always had to have a building buddy. So they wouldn't let me be alone in the building because they didn't, you know, for safety reasons. So I was chewing through donations. Then they let me have a volunteer come back. Sharon, who is a volunteer par excellence to this day. And then we developed, starting in July, we developed the model of opening 2 days a week in our parking lot. So we moved the shop outside 2 days a week for safety reasons for about a year. And people loved it, because we were one of the few retail places completely outside. People felt safe. I had people coming up to me who were having chemotherapy, people who were immunosuppressed in various ways, and between being outside and being masked, which I also requested of people, they felt safe. So it was a way to shop and still feel safe. So we did that for a year, and we slowly reopened. Volunteers, slowly trickled back in. And so it's been a process of, trying to get back to where we were. When we first reopened donations, again, it was just a flood. I spoke with the retail manager for the Columbia Council or Cascade Council or whatever they call it for Goodwill Industries. And the first place they opened for donations was down in Salem, and they had people driving down from Vancouver in order to donate. And it was just a torrent. And it really has not let up for us. We are pretty flooded all the time. And it's, of course, it's a wonderful thing, but
I'm sorry to interrupt. We have about 5 minutes left of your segment.
yeah.
I'm wondering if we could fast forward to today. What you've been through has been incredible, and it's amazing that, thank you for everything you have done to make people feel safe and to bring the library and bring the Second Edition resale through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
I know you're getting a glut of items. So what would it be helpful to continue to donate to you? And then what do you not want?
What we're looking for is high value items. Honestly, at this point, we want things that are like new. The 3 cornerstones of what we're looking for is quality, condition, and value. It would also be helpful if people would look on our website and actually follow donation guidelines. I'm sure everyone here has that same problem, that things are donated without just sort of willy-nilly. But we also get some absolutely amazing things, and those are the items that really bring in the money. Beautiful things in great condition, $500 shirts with the tags still on, platinum and diamond wedding bands, and so on. But just also ordinary things in great condition are what we were looking for. Does that cover that base for you, or do you want some more detail?
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. Does anyone have specific questions for Corey at this time?
The one thing I think I would add is that what I would like to see as part of the larger picture is simply for people to shop more judiciously. I've been reading a very interesting book. I did bring it up here, called Organized Living by Shira Gill. And it's the story of about, she went to the homes of about 22 organizers, people like you, Whitney, to see how they organized their own homes and what guidelines they used to keep their homes organized. Over and over and over, what they talk about is trying to pull people back from a pattern of consumption. And I think that's where we all are right now. Is the pandemic drove consumption in odd ways, and we're needing to pull back from that. So judicious consumption and then judicious donation. Not using donation as a way to justify consumption and so on would be what I would urge. And that's my biggest concern running a resale shop, is that people are at a store and they're going, oh, I can just donate it. And that's hard on everybody, I think. So yeah, so we obviously, donations are our bread and butter. We can't open the doors without them. But we also hope that people will shop, spend, and consume mindfully.
Thank you for that, Corey. That's a really important point. Our focus for last month was on sustainability, and this really ties into what we were talking about. And our team has an internal book club, so I'm going to put your book at the top of our list. Thank you for sharing that.
I've been really enjoying it a lot, and but you see consistent themes, and overconsumption is one of the big concerns.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. And we'll open it up at the end if folks have additional questions for you.
Sure.
So thanks again. I am going to introduce next Mary G. Johnson. She's the VP of Marketing Communications for the Assistance League of Greater Portland. Mary graduated from the University of Idaho with a degree in communications with an emphasis in public relations and advertising. She joined the Assistance League in 2017. She has served a 2-year term as VP membership, 1 year as president-elect, and 1 year as president. Mary has been twice involved as Promenade Fashion Show coordinator for the League's major fundraiser. Mary introduced Instagram and Facebook to the League to promote their retail shops and membership, and is an active contributor to their social media promotions. Mary is also a full-time Portland Metro Realtor. Welcome, Mary.
Hi, thank you. Do we want to show the video first or, okay.
Assistance League of Greater Portland is a 100% volunteer organization dedicated to serving the community through 5 philanthropic programs. Member volunteers operate a thrift and consignment shop, write grants, and organize fundraisers to fund our programs. All proceeds stay within our local community. In fiscal year 2022-2023, our organization had 37,130 volunteer hours, which translates to over $1 million in volunteer service.
Looks like we've had a
Bell
glitch.
is Assistance League's signature program. Each Operation School Bell is Assistance League's signature program. Each year, we provide new clothes for 4,000 local school children from low-income families. Assault Survivor Kits offer a bit of dignity by providing real clothing for victims of assault. The kits are being distributed to healthcare centers throughout the Tri-County area. We help provide retail training opportunities for transitional young adult students from the Hillsborough School District seeking independence. While working in our thrift shop, students are trained on the cash register, setting up the sales floor, pricing, to interacting with customers. These students are on the path to success within the community. Cordero is a Janus Youth Residential Treatment for teenage boys recovering from abuse. Our volunteers provide activities twice a month and celebrate birthdays, graduations, and holidays with these boys on their road to recovery. Scholarships for the Trades is a winning solution for vocational students and the community. We address a shortage of skilled tradespeople in the community and give a boost to students from all walks of life in pursuit of living wage careers. We partner with both Clackamas and Portland Community Colleges, and we have provided $40,000 to each of their trade programs.
Oh, what a great overview, Mary. It's fantastic.
Well, it's already out of date.
Oh,
We
we'll
just
catch
did
us
it
up.
last year and it's already out of date. We've already added programs and so, but we're trying. Do you want me to continue? Just, okay. I see I've been
Sure,
switched to me.
please
Okay.
do.
So as far as donations, we started out where we took donations every day too. But with the COVID hitting, we went into 1 day a week. It's the only day we take donations. And it's on Tuesday from 10 to 2 p.m. And they drive up, the people donating, and we have several volunteers out front collecting the donations. At that time is when they will really review what's being donated. And that has helped considerably, weeding out what's acceptable and what's not. And on our webpage too, our website, you can find what we take, but we don't take electronics. We do not take children's toys. We do not take camping items. We don't take sporting items, sporting goods. So be sure if you're going to donate anything to double check our website and look at what we take, because we're pretty selective. Fortunately, we get to be selective. So definitely review it before you come. Now we have kind of a unique situation because we do have a thrift shop and we take donations, but then on the other side of the building, we have a consignment shop. And we work with a lot of estate sales. People will bring things in if they're downsizing their furniture and will consign with us. And the consignment is a 60-40 split. So it's 60% to the consigner and 40% to Assistance League. And that's another way to get rid of some of those things that especially if you're downsizing, you're going to a smaller place, a lot of items, people are looking for getting rid of their bigger items. So that's another option besides donations. We are all volunteers. We're 100% volunteers. We have and we're not just volunteers, we're also members of the Assistance League. And the Assistance League is we have a national association, and there's 120 chapters across the country. And we are members too of this association. So we do pay dues yearly to be a member, and that gives us voting rights. So we vote on everything we do. All the membership approves. We are about 170 members in the Assistance League of Greater League Portland. So if you're interested in donating, we'd love to have you donate to us, but we would also love, maybe you want to volunteer and we could use you, because we started with 5 programs and we are now up to 8 programs. And in the video, it mentioned scholarships. Well, we started out giving $20,000 2 years ago in scholarships. We're now up to $100,000 in scholarships that we give out to students in going to community colleges in trades. We help 5,500 grade school children now in our Operation School Bell, where a year ago it was 4,000. So we are really operating over $1 million business by volunteering, all volunteers. And so there's a lot of different avenues to get involved. And of course, we wouldn't be having the success without our fabulous donations. And we do get some fabulous donations. But what we do is, if it's something that's slipped through, you know, the checkpoint, we do find another company, another business to donate to. We do not throw out things. So we are always redonating to other organizations. Union Gospel was one we did, and Teen Challenge is another one. So anyway, we're really proud of our organization and our Portland community.
Thank you, Mary. That's wonderful. It was before the pandemic, but Big Rocks donated an organizing package at your fundraiser, and I went to the fashion show that was emceed by Poison Waters, and it was just so much fun.
Yes.
Yeah, and also I hadn't bought any business clothes since before the pandemic, and I had to go to a conference earlier this year, and so I went to Assistance League, and I got essentially, I think I got 6 tops, a blazer, 2 pairs of pants, 2 pairs of shoes, all for $150, and they were all designer labels, like brand new. And your volunteers were really nice. It was a great shopping experience. So I just want to put a shout out to y'all for that.
Yeah. Well, we have the other interesting part in the thrift shop is we have a men's section, and it used to be just kind of a little section, and it has grown leaps and bounds. And we get some great, you know, men will come in, young men, you know, they're going to dance or they're going to the job interview, and they're trying on some of the sports coats we get are just unbelievable. So even our men's department within the thrift shop has grown. And then we have the Purple Tag department, and that is the designer section. And people will always come up to the counter and say, well, what does Purple Tag mean? And I just say a lot more money than the other items, but they're just designer items. And yeah, we steam. It's quite a process. We get those donations. We take them in the back. We have somebody pricing shoes. Somebody is steaming the clothes. You know, then we have to put the winter clothes in the back if it's summer. And it's quite a fun thing to see. And if anyone is ever interested in seeing a tour of our building, call me. I would love to take you through. It's amazing the work they do.
And you're on 117th in Beaverton, is that right? Kind of near Canyon Road.
Yeah, easy to get to. Canyon Road, 117th, Fred Meyer's across the other way. Yeah.
Does anyone have a question for Mary? And we will open it up at the end too. No. You did such a great job. No one has questions at this time, Mary.
That's okay.
Well, is it okay if I have a question?
Of course. Go for it, Corey.
So you're finding in 4 hours a week that you're getting enough merchandise to keep you going. And what are your business hours? How many days a week?
Well, I'm glad you asked that, because here's the amazing thing, Corey, is before the pandemic, we were opened Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 4.
Okay, very similar to what our hours are now.
Well, but now, after the pandemic, because our volunteers are an older population, after the pandemic, we could only get enough volunteers to open 2 days a week, Thursday and Saturday from 12 to 4. Well, we are so busy, and we have increased our dollars by so much that we don't have to open up any other days. So we're only opened 8 hours a week.
Wow.
And then the donations on Tuesday.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have a few volunteers actually that work at Corey that volunteer with you. But so, yeah, we would love to open a third day. We just need the volunteers.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we're on that, but I have to align my hours much more tightly to the library.
Oh, okay.
So that's, yeah.
We did do a promotion this fall We called it Fall Fridays, and it started in October and ran through October and November. We opened up on Fridays, same hours. It was hard to staff it, but we did it. And we increased our business by 20%. But we just have, you just have to be able to staff.
Yeah,
staff
absolutely.
it. So we're
Absolutely.
trying, we're looking at it a third
Yeah.
day, but we're doing so well with just 2. It's kind of hard to sell a third day.
Sure. Congratulations.
Yes,
Yeah, no,
congratulations to
it's
you
the work
both.
of it's a work of about 60 real dedicated volunteers,
Yeah,
behind
yeah.
the scenes. Yeah.
Mary, thank you. I'm going to pivot now to
Okay.
Liz. Sorry, let me go
Hi,
ahead and
everybody.
spotlight Liz. Sorry, you moved around on my screen. Hold on. There we go. Thank you, Jean. So I'm happy to introduce Liz Stark with Rosehaven. Liz is a community activist and development diva centered in intersectional feminism. Since 2014, she has been the development director at Rosehaven, the only day shelter and community center serving women, children, and marginalized genders experiencing homelessness and intersecting traumas in Portland. Liz is the general manager of the Shelter Suit Foundation USA and has been the master of ceremonies and producer of Portland Fashion Week since 2022. For 4 years, she was the chair of Planned Parenthood Columbia Willamette's Sexy Tuesdays planning committee, where she organized special events to raise awareness about sexual and reproductive health care. Liz helped make marriage equality a reality through volunteerism with Human Rights Campaign, and she has served on the board of directors for Focus on Youth, helping to build their community garden for homeless kids, and the Seeds of Hope program. She graduated from PSU with a BA in anthropology and a minor in women, gender, and sexuality studies in 2013. Thank you, Liz, for all that you do for Rosehaven and for our community at large, for making it a better place. And we're excited to have you here today.
Thanks for having me. And as you all know, it takes a village. So I'll take a few minutes to kind of tell you what we do at the Haven. So as Whitney said, we are the only day shelter and community center specifically for women, children, and marginalized genders in Portland. 27 years ago, we were founded as a sanctuary for women and children. And today we recognize that trans and non-binary folks are actually in more need of our services as far as marginalization due to their gender identity. And so we welcome anybody that identifies as trans or non-binary as well. So we are that safe place to go during the day when the overnight shelters are closed, where you can put the pieces back together. So we're open Monday through Friday, and when you come in, it's really a supportive community. So the idea is that we're kind of a one-stop shop where you can meet all of your basic needs. But in a perfect world, if everybody's basic needs were met tomorrow and we could wave a magic wand, we would still be a community center and a resource center. And that's really what we're here for more than anything, is community and socialization. So when you come in, you can get a hot meal, clean clothing. We have a little boutique that we call our shop, where every other week you can choose 3 new outfits for yourself and up to 1 child at a time. We also provide fresh sets. So if it's not your shopping day and you just need a clean set of clothes, we can get those for you, but we choose them for you. You don't get the whole experience of going into the boutique. We have showers on site. We have a clinic on site. We do a whole host of classes and activities. So everything from knitting and crocheting and soul collage to more practical things like resume support groups. Really, I always say our classes and activities are as diverse as our volunteers. We are almost entirely volunteer run. So we had over 1,000 volunteers last year. And we served 4,152 guests last year, just to give you scope. So we do see about 150 people a day, every single day, especially right now as the homeless crisis has escalated. All of the overnight shelters are at capacity with wait lists. So we are the only place that many folks can access if they are completely unsheltered, so living outside in cars or in tents. And unfortunately, Oregon has the 2nd highest rate of literally unsheltered folks in the nation, and actually the highest rate of unsheltered school children. So we do serve a lot of children and families as well. Of those 4,000 guests last year, 800 of them were children. And every Wednesdays are our family afternoons. So you actually do have to have children's registered with us to come in on Wednesdays between 1 and 4. And it's just a little bit of a different vibe here. You know, if you come during the mornings, most weekdays, as I said, it's a hop and haven. So see about 150 people a day at any given time. There's about 80 guests in our community area. Family afternoons are a little bit more chill since you have to have kids with you. We set up the area differently. We have a little play area for the kids. We put out the supplies for moms to kind of rummage through rather than having to go to the desk and request things. And so that's what we do. It takes a village. So processing the donations and getting things from people that have too much to people that don't have enough is a huge part of what we do. So we do have a donation dock. We're located right on the corner of Northwest 18th Avenue and Gleason Street in the Alphabet District in Northwest Portland. We're actually in the former World Cup coffee space, if you're familiar with the neighborhood. We used to be a couple blocks down for years in the basement of the First Emmanuel Lutheran Church, but we moved into our new building on International Women's Day 2022. We always throw a big party that day, so mark your calendars. But when you come, there is a loading dock with a beautiful rose mural on the side, right on Gleason Street between 17th and 18th Avenue. And there's a doorbell there that you can ring, and that's where you can drop off donations. Our drop-in hours are every Thursday from 1 to 4. So you don't need an appointment during that time. We have volunteers out there to meet with you, go through what you have, confirm it's things that we need. But if those times don't work for you, you can always schedule an appointment with us. So you can reach out via email or call us, or you can go to our website. So rosehaven.org. There's a drop down at the top that says helping. If you drop down on that, there's a link that says donate supplies. If you go to that donate supplies page, we actually update that every single week. So we put our top needs of everything that we're out of and we really, really need. We have our running list of things that we accept and things that we can't accept. And there's a button where you can schedule a donation appointment. We just changed to this new system. What we used to accept donations during every hour that we were open as well. We used to have more hours during the week. We used to do Tuesdays and Thursdays as drop-in. And just in the past month or so, when we had to kind of do a big organization at the end of the summer to make room for all the winter stuff, we scaled it down to once a week because we were finding, you know, a lot of people are basically using nonprofits as a dumping ground rather than being intentional and really thinking about where the things are going to go. And so, you know, my fun stuff that I like to do around fashion, I've learned a lot about sustainability and reuse. And, you know, unfortunately, the fashion industry is the biggest polluter on the planet. And we know about the human rights abuses and the environmental catastrophes that are happening on the production end. But I've only recently learned really what's happening on the other end as far as that those synthetic materials simply don't break down, right? They're all made of plastic. And so they are choking out our landfills. They're choking out organizations like ours. And a problem that we see a lot is I think that people purchase things through Shein or, you know, H&M, and they wash it once, the buttons fall off, and then they say, okay, well, I'm going to donate it. Well, our guests can't wear something without buttons on it either. And I think that it's not for ill intention for a lot of folks. I think it's just really that they're not thinking about it, or maybe think, oh, they probably can wash this, you know, if they're dropping something off covered in pet hair, or, you know, oh, this just has a little hole, they can mend it. Well, we simply don't have the infrastructure to do that because, as you all know, it's a lot of work to take those donations, process them. So, and keeping our volunteers happy is important as well. And so we were getting feedback from the volunteers that it's just a really hard job to do. So I work really hard to try to keep the website up to date and communicate to our donors what we need and what we don't need. What I always say is, can you put it on your body today and wear it outside? No? Then hold on to it till the season that we can. So, you know, we really don't have a lot of space for storing things that are off season. However, we recognize that, you know, especially with the new items, when stores are clearing out their dead stock, that, you know, you're only really going to get the summer stuff in the winter. And so we'll make exceptions if things are brand new, and accommodate for that. But I also want to nod to that, you know, while we want to promote dignity and we encourage our donors to donate things that are like new, or shop our Amazon wish list when they can, I have been out to the Amazon warehouses and I've seen what that looks like. And we don't want to just be encouraging people to consume more and more and more and more. So encouraging reuse is really important. And I love to connect with the other folks here and have a continued conversation on how we can maybe align our messaging to be more nuanced, because it is like, while we want to encourage reuse, we also can't be the ones that are solely responsible for that. So I've seen some really interesting things come online, like sewing brigades and kind of groups of individuals that are working on rescuing items and then getting those to us when they're in a usable condition. I also wanted to mention that camp gear is like gold to us. So I know Mary said that's something that they can't accept. Gosh, if you ever have any extra of that, or you're looking for places to route people, that's a huge need for us. Because as I said, many of our guests are living unsheltered. So tarps, tents, sleeping bags, rolling luggage, those are like gold for us. And I want to give a shout out to Big Rocks, which has done a great job when they're doing home organizing, salvaging those items for us and bringing them. It's really worth more than gold to us. And people don't just buy that stuff like they buy clothing, right? People just obsessively buy clothing, myself included. I'm trying to be better about it, but you don't buy new camp gear every year. And so it's just something that we never ever have enough of. Same with the luggage. So if you're on social media, please give us a follow. We do update our Instagram. We try to do it every Monday. We do a top needs post where we take a picture of the whiteboard where we write things that we're out of and we have a volunteer hold it up. We post that every Monday and also update the website every Monday. But also, if you have something that you're just not sure about, you can always give us a call or email me. All my info, my cell number is on the website. You can send a direct message to our Instagram, but I'm really not as good at checking that. We get a lot of crazy stuff on there too. So email or phone is really the best way to get a hold of us. And help us spread the word. In addition to kind of the everyday supplies that we need to keep our guests alive, we also want to uphold dignity and give our guests things that have nothing to do with survival. So, for example, we had our Harvest Meal of Gratitude last week, which is our annual Thanksgiving meal. And we're coming up on our holiday celebration for our guests, where each of the guests will get a gift bag. So I've had, folks all over the community collecting things that we can put in those bags to just make people feel good that, we don't want to give people tampons for Christmas. We want to give them something that they don't need. And so we're always doing collections for things like that as well. We're also in the midst of our Adopt a Family program that we do every year. So we provide brand new gifts for about 500 children every year. We've got about 170 families signed up so far this year. And each mom, so 170 moms actually get a gift bag that one lady named Grandma Joan collects and does reuse stuff all year long to put these together and make sure that they're identical for every mom. And then we reach out to the children or the moms and we get the wish list for the children, and then we pair them with donors. So we actually have donors go out and purchase the things that the kids asked for rather than the kids getting leftovers. Same, we don't accept used toys unless it's a really special thing. Sometimes we'll make exceptions for stuffed toys if they're clean, because even our adult guests really enjoy those. But generally, used toys are really hard to manage. Half the time they're missing parts or not clean. Bed bugs is something that we have to be really, really careful about. So plushy things, we don't accept pillows and generally not plushy things unless it's really been cleared ahead of time. And other than that, I would say, most things that we accept can be gently used. The exception would be underwear and socks do have to be brand new, as well as hygiene items. So deodorant, soap, shampoo, conditioner, things like that. That all has to be new and unopened. But anything else we can take things that are gently used. We just do ask that they are actually gently used. And I always say, do the check on yourself. Is this something that you would wear? Could you put this on your body? Would you have this in your home? And if not, maybe think about, another place to donate it. We also share with a lot of nonprofits. So Rahab Sisters is a wonderful partner of ours. They take a lot of stuff that we can't use if we have extras. We also work with Arc of the Peninsulas. They ship things overseas. And so things that really are beyond the point of use. They also have some recycling programs we will share with ARC. But mostly everything that comes in the door, generally somebody's going to be wearing it that week. So as I said, we serve about 150 people a day. So we go through a lot of stuff, but we always need a lot of stuff. And I always say it is like feast or famine, it's like we're always really flush with something when we don't need it. And then once we're out, we're out. And I do, just want to take a moment to mention the extreme climate changes that we've been seeing. You know, we don't really have seasons the way that we used to. It's dropping 30, 40 degrees overnight, or same with when it got hot over the summer. And so that's been really challenging for us to keep up with as well, because usually it used to be a little bit more gradual and we would be collecting those things. And now it's like, oh my gosh, it's cold. 5-alarm fire, we need all the stuff. So this time of year, really anything that is waterproof, we are so desperate for. We tend to get a lot of sweaters and fleeces donated, which are great for layering, but if you don't have that outer shell, as soon as it gets wet, it's just like a sponge and it's really not useful. So really anything that's waterproof, tents, tarps, sleeping bags, you know, windbreakers, just think of those outer shells. And a tip I also love to tell our donors, if they're going out and doing shopping for us, especially this time of year and they're trying to be intentional, is gloves. I think that we always see, Fred Meyer always does a big sale and the dollar store has those cheap gloves. But the challenge is, and you have to think, if you're outside, you know, the first time you put your hand on a wet banister or something, that is going to get soaked right through and it's not going to be very useful. So waterproof gloves are actual like decent leather gloves. Those are like gold for us. Always need those. And anything with a handle or wheels, purses, backpacks, rolling luggage and suitcases, those are things that we can always use.
Thank you so much, Liz. In the interest of time, I want to be sure that Alice has time to talk as well, but I'll just share briefly that our team was honored to go and volunteer as a team together at Rosehaven in October, and you had just gotten a huge donation of hygiene supplies from Ridwell. And there were 9 or 10 of us, and we were there for 2.5 hours, and I think we barely made it through sorting half of the donations. And a lot of them had been open, so we were sorting that. And so I can see just how overwhelming it must be and how many volunteer hours you need to sort through all of that. But I also want to
Ridwell
put
has been
shout out.
awesome. Oh my gosh, love
Oh,
Ridwell.
yeah, Ridwell is great. They were a guest on our show last month. So I would like to have you and Corey and anyone who's interested in coming back and do like a future Ask the Organizer about overconsumption and how we can change our habits and how it's impacting the planet. Corey's like, yes, all over that. So I also just want to put a shout out that if you have a group, you can go volunteer at Rosehaven together, and it's just so impactful and so meaningful. And Angel is here on the call today. So maybe Angel, you can wave and we'll share your contact information and Liz's as well in our, post email that'll come out early next week. So thank you for being here today, Liz. And I'm going to shift to Alice. Jean, could you please spotlight Alice for me? Alice Forbes has been the executive director of Schoolhouse Supplies since 2015. She's a Portland native with a background working with local and national nonprofits. At Schoolhouse Supplies, she gets to work with hundreds of dedicated and fun volunteers, donors, teachers, and others to make a difference for local kids. Alice, please tell us more.
I will, and I am going to share a PowerPoint here. Let's see. Schoolhouse Supplies was founded almost 25 years ago. Next year is our 25th birthday, and we're going to be just like the kids we serve, we're going to be celebrating all year. We're going to really stretch it out. We were founded as an organization that connects the community with public education. So we have a mission to support underserved kids, their teachers, their classrooms, and we were founded as a reuse organization. So just like the organizations you've heard from, we accept gently used and surplus and reclaimed products that we put in our free store for teachers. We have multiple programs, and last school year, we distributed over $5 million worth of free product back out into local schools and local school districts. We do that with 4 paid staff, and last year about 900 volunteers that supported our efforts. So just like all of your organizations, we really do depend on volunteers. We have lots of opportunities for individual volunteers, but also for groups to come and volunteer and sort through product. Our largest program, our very first program, was the Free Store for Teachers. And the Free Store is just what it sounds like. It is a store where teachers in Multnomah County schools that are eligible can come get free supplies. So in the schools that we serve, there are about 52,000 students enrolled in the eligible schools in Multnomah County. That includes Head Start programs, transition programs, and just like the kids served in some of the other programs you've heard about, at our average school that we work with, a typical school, 87% of the kids qualify for free and reduced lunch. 67% are students of color, which is much higher than in the districts as a whole. And in some of the schools we work with, a third of the kids are homeless or highly mobile. So the students that Liz was talking about attend many of the schools that we work with. So in the free store for teachers, which was responsible for distributing over $3 million of that $5 million worth of product, everything is donated by the community. Some of the product is brand new product that's donated during back to school supply drives, but depending on the year, about 75 to 80% of the product in the free store is gently used or reclaimed product from the community, from organizations like Whitney's, folks, cleaning out their house. I know when my oldest kid went to college, it was like, okay, I purchased index cards for 12 stinking years and I found them all unopened, in some drawer in his dresser. So those are the sort of donations we see. We also work with larger businesses locally and across the country that support similar nonprofits that donate surplus product that might otherwise be incinerated. So we're keeping, last year we kept, I think it was 120 tons of product out of the waste stream. So there's the basics, and maybe it's brand new, maybe it's just been sitting around that junk drawer for a long time. We have lots of art supplies. That's an item that's like very expensive to purchase. And so that is an item that it's okay if it's gently used. It doesn't have to be brand new. Like even a half a bottle of fancy paint is really desirable. If you live in the city of Portland and you pay the arts tax, that funds teachers, but it doesn't fund any supplies. And so we have lots and lots of teachers who have no budget and nothing to work with. And the average teacher spends anywhere from $500 to $1,000 a year on supplies for their classroom. And we know that teachers are not paid what they're worth, considering the job they're doing. So anything we can do also to support our teachers makes a real difference. Here's examples. Pens, everyone has lots of pens sitting around, all those logo pens you pick up at, conferences or whatever. Puzzles and games. Ever since pandemic, now we never run out of puzzles and games in the free store. One seems to have them. Those funny little plastic bins that maybe seemed like a good idea at the time, but probably you found maybe wasn't as useful as you thought. Those items all will have a new useful life in a local classroom. We have on our website, we are donation by appointment, and on our website, we have right on the main landing page right now, we have a place you can schedule a donation. We also have, if you navigate to the Donate Supplies tab, you get to this page and there's a whole list of items we currently accept. There's a list of items we don't accept. There's some other list of some other organizations you could donate to. And then there's another place to schedule an appointment to make a donation. Here's some teachers that have said nice things about schoolhouse supplies and told us about their students. We do a lot of evaluation and assessment throughout the year to make sure that we're delivering our services in a way that really supports the kids and the families and the teachers at the schools that we work with. Here's my name and our programs manager, Emily, who is in charge of the free store and all our other programs and our donation and volunteer programs as well. We can all be reached at our info@ email address, and here's our website. With that, I will stop sharing. And with that, I will wrap it up. And if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thanks so much, Alice.
Again,
So-
I'll ask a question. What
Sure.
kind of donation guideline compliance do you experience, Alice? Are you getting pretty good, well-targeted donations?
We, I certainly seen people like go to the mat over why we needed to take something that was pretty junky, but for the most part, people are pretty thoughtful. You know, they look at the guidelines. Folks say like, oh, we tested the pens. We have volunteers that test pens also. I mean, I think people are thoughtful. So yeah, we get junky stuff and stuff we don't want. We do reject stuff at the loading dock, but you know, having the guidelines on the website makes a huge difference.
Thank you so much, Alice, and for all of our community members for coming to share about your organizations today. We so appreciate having you here and all the work that you do to give back to our community. And we look forward to continuing to partner with you. And I hope that you'll partner with each other and that maybe some synergy has been created today. And we'll have you back too for an overconsumption workshop sometime next year. Speaking of next year, we have some exciting news. Our theme for 2025 for our Ask the Organizer series is going to be right size with big rocks, room by room. So each month we'll be tackling a different room of the house. And in January, we're going to kick it off with the junk drawer. So yes, I actually want you to bring your junk drawer to the workshop. And maybe we'll test those pens so we can donate them to Alice's organization. And maybe you've got some crafty things that can be donated there, or to Rosehaven or to another appropriate local organization. So we are going to switch days and times. So our Ask the Organizer series ATO is going to change to Tuesdays from 12 to 1, first Tuesdays. So it'll be a lunch and learn. And we're also adding every third Tuesday of the month something we're calling Right Sizing Rock Stars, which is going to be kind of an open office hour where you can drop in on Zoom and ask the organizers on our team any question under the sun about organizing. It doesn't necessarily need to be about that month's room or the theme like the junk drawer, but we're here to provide resources and information and knowledge and know-how. So we'll be offering that as well. And then next week on the auspicious day of Friday, the 13th, Jess, our operations manager, and I are going to be giving an in-person presentation at the Beaverton Lodge. And it's about how to right size sentimental items, those things that are really hard to let go of. So it's going to be in person at 2 p.m. And if you'd like to attend, you can call the Beaverton Lodge and sign up. And we'd love to see you there in person. Jess, Kayla, and am I missing anything about 2025 that we want to announce?
That one's about. Oh,
I think you covered it.
Okay. Oh, sorry, one more thing. We're also going to be doing a series.
Automatic sentimental, okay.
So we're also going to be doing a monthly series at Laurel Park Senior Living Community in Bethany. So we'll be talking about right sizing room by room there, and it's going to be from 11:30 to 1 the second Tuesday of each month, and lunch will be included, and it's limited to the first 20 people who sign up. So we will send out information about all of this and the contact information for all of our speakers today and links to their websites, so you can go and learn how you can donate wonderful things like those diamond earrings to Corey so she can sell them in the shop.
Yes, please.
And tents to Liz, and good quality things to all of our other folks. Any last thoughts before we sign off today, or any last questions or announcements?
Just, I'd like to say one thing. We've been talking about donating goods, and maybe, you know, people have hit this, but donating time is just so incredibly important. And if everybody could spend 3 hours less shopping every week and take that 3 hours and donate it to one of these wonderful organizations, it would be transformative.
Or even 3 hours fewer watching television too.
There, yes, whatever your
There it is.
vice of choice is.
Thank
But I
you.
know I know we're down, our volunteer hours are down. I think everybody is experiencing that pinch. So if you could find the time to donate time, that is a wonderful gift in this season of giving.
Thank you, Corey. And that's a wonderful note, I think, to wrap things up today. Thank you, everybody, for being here. And we wish you a warm and bright holiday season. Take care.
Thanks so much.